been chasing shadows in the night. Words echo silent where I hide. Every mirror shows a stranger's eyes, searching for the part of me that's mine. But the sky ignites a spark inside, burning down to wait. In the ashes of my fight, truth is born again. I won't rise up like a phoenix from the flame. Find my voice and call out your name. From the roots of what I used to be, I'll embrace the truth and set it free. Blinded by the weight of all my fears, I let them break me, shape my tears. Every scar's a testament to life. Now I rewrite the story in my mind. Yeah, feel the fire burning. I'm no longer turning away from the truth that's calling. I'm alive today. All I used to be, flash of freeness, rise Larry, and set me free. Rising high, Phoenix, watch me go.
Brian is innocent. Brian has been essentially convicted in the media. He has a right to have this information withheld, brought out in public, so that people can see it's not this neat little package. So people can start to wonder if Brian's innocent. Your Honor, Brian is innocent. So if I talk about things that are in the affidavit, and if I talk about things that we're seeking that the state wants to hide, I think that's fair game for the public to hear.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to try to power through. This is going to be a really video heavy live stream, and obviously the photo dump part 2. And I don't know if you've all have seen, I'm just going to get right into it. How is everyone today? That's the question. How are you guys holding out, learning what you're learning in this crazy case? Drop below how you're feeling about some of the videos you've been watching, some of the pictures you've been looking at, and some of the new information that has come out. If you are new to my stream, welcome in. Everyone is welcome. You will be accepted here. However, if you are trolling, keep scrolling, because here we rise above assumptions and the rumors. We think with open minds. Every question matters. Every angle is welcome. And if this is you, welcome home. Welcome into Phoenix Talks. I'm your host, Phoenix. And after reviewing some of the pictures with you live that I had reviewed by myself, I started thinking yesterday, what did the state want to hide? I mean, maybe everything, but to blame an innocent person and put him in a court process blows me away to no end. I have got my hot liquid gold here. I am trying to digest everything we learned yesterday, that it may not be what it was. The time may not be what it was. And I reviewed a couple of pictures last night again that I didn't get to yesterday. We didn't go through all of them, and there's a reason. I came across I hear you guys, sad, pissed off. I know that I'm going to be well. Feeling sad, it's a lot. Yeah, especially for you guys that have never followed this case before, especially new people coming in, wondering what the heck we're talking about. Who was all these other people? I was in another stream. They really think BK did this and couldn't listen to read the chat anymore. I am so sorry. I mean, you have officials, law officials. You have the expert report. I put it up on justiceforall.com. You can go read those for yourselves. It just shocks me that people refuse to believe the truth. The Idaho State's exhibits are right here, folks. I added them up there. They are there for the whole world to go read. Justice for, spelled out Fourall. And there is some wild stuff in these exhibits. I mean, this is the exhibit S1 that I had been waiting for months, literally almost 2 years. This S1 exhibit was so important to the prosecution, but never made real sense. Never made real sense. How did 3 to 4 people murder 4 people and never get caught? Excuse me, I'm going to power through this stream. I promise you. How did they get away with murder? We know Moscow Police Department said Bryan Kohberger was never stalking anyone. We know that Ann Taylor told the world that Bryan Kohberger was factually innocent. And I've gone over that. I've talked about this in detail, what that means. Talked about autism, talked about his snowy vision, blurred vision at nighttime. He is no ninja. I have talked about this in just circles. There are creators out there, folks, that still believe he is guilty. I cannot believe this. I can't. And they're so upset about it. They keep trying to strike my channel because there are people out there sharing truth. Did you know that crime scene pretty much was scrubbed? The defense went back. Let me just grab it. The defense went back. And that crime scene was pretty much scrubbed. Yes. Yep. Pretty much scrubbed. What do I mean? Someone cleaned the crime scene. Clean the crimes. I'm just like baffled. When you see something like this, it makes me think, was this more of a psyop? Was this more of a bigger agenda in our court system? Was this bigger of a money grab? Is this like being hoodwinked right in front of our face for years? And this is the first time in the history that maybe these people have gotten caught? Is this possible? And then I look at the pictures. I look at the body cam. And I'm looking at certain things and I'm thinking the defense knew that it was not Bryan Kohberger. The defense knew. And they shared it with the world. But nobody gave a flying frick because they wanted the drama of all of this. And yet we creators are still asking for the smoking gun to show us that he did this. And there's nothing. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely, Caleb. There are cold cases even from the 80s, but going back to the 1920s. Absolutely. Media's played a huge part in all these lies. And speaking of the media, we are going to review the new interview with Nancy Grace. I know some of you can't stomach this.
What in the hay? Haven't the victims' families been through enough? I don't understand what is wrong with these people. Joining me to very special guests, the parents of the beautiful Kelly Gonsalves. What happened when you first learned these pictures from hell? Hell had been released.
They were out. They were already on the website. It's not true crime anymore. It's troll crime.
They're making a profit off your dead loved ones.
Breaking news. Hell pics. Pictures straight from hell.
Is this really troll crime? Or is this truth crime? Because the more information we put out there, I think with the pictures that we review, with the information that we share, I think perhaps, no, I stopped the video. Perhaps this isn't troll crime.
Horrific photos from inside the brutal Idaho murders of 4 beautiful young University of Idaho students. Why were those photos leaked on the Idaho State Police website and then quickly scrubbed away? Everybody saw it. This after Brian Kohberger slaughters innocent students, and tonight the parents sue. Do you blame them? Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us. Inside the Brian Kohberger murder scene, the truth of what happened that night. Beautiful University of Idaho students were slaughtered in their own beds.
This would have been a bloodbath where they were killed.
Now the family that's still dealing with the brutal murder of their children are having to take on a fight so these vile photos are not released. What in the hay? Haven't the victims' families been through enough? I cannot imagine. Last night, under immense pressure for our program to show the photos, I looked at them. I had to get on the phone with our investigative reporter, Dave Mack, and actually broke down and cried looking at these photos. And there is no way in HELL that we're going to go along with leaked photos that just destroy the families. I saw only one probative photo of what was leaked. The rest was just gore. One probative photo that actually meant something, that proved something, and that was the location of the knife sheath. Joining me right now, 2 very special guests, the parents.
Now, I only watched parts of this, and they are saying that the knife sheath, the one that clearly states in these expert documents, is staged or planted. Nancy Grace obviously has not read any of these documents. Their producers have not read any of these documents, or else they wouldn't have these 2 on camera sharing this, whatever they're about to share.
Of the beautiful Kelly Gonsalves. Thank you to both of you for being with us. It means so much that at this moment, when you are under siege again, that you take time to be with us tonight. So thank you.
Thank you.
I've got so much to talk to you about. Of course, Brian Kohberger's sister does a New York Times article whining about how hurt she is and the pain her going through. Really? But before I get to her, what about these photos? When did you, now this is what we're learning, Christy. We're learning that the Idaho State Police put these on their website and then quickly went ruh-roh and scrubbed the whole thing. They were leaked onto the website.
Okay, someone requested a FOIA, and that person was me, among many creators. And I had done this back in August. And all of a sudden, the families ran to Moscow Police Department and said, please don't release these pictures on the internet. Then the families went to the court systems and asked for a protection order to not be leaked. Now we know why, because we've looked at several of them, and we put together that the story is not as it seems, perhaps, in our humble opinion. Now, I will say this. ISP did release the forensics I asked for on, of all days, Halloween. I shared those with you. They put them on a drive for everyone to access, just like these photos. Anyone last week could have downloaded these photos at any time they were available. They were already going to release the information because a FOIA was asked for by the ISP. Now, see, Moscow courts don't govern ISP. If they wanted that, they should have went to the ISP and got a restraining order against them not to release any photos, had to go in front of a judge, and then would have to stand up in court and say the rhetoric all over again to get a protection order against them. So ISP doesn't have to follow a little old Latah County jurisdiction judge's order. But if you whine loud enough and if you call people and say, look, we're going to sue you, that's probably why, I think, speculation, of course, they took it down so fast. Now, some creators are really quick to grab some of these things, and now you're saying that we're trolls because we're sharing the truth of those pictures. Nothing has been altered. Everything shown is the actual real document. Wake the fuck up.
What happened when you first learned these pictures from hell had been released?
Well, actually, one of the Idaho State Police detectives called Olivia and told her that the photos were coming out, and they were a different entity as the other ones were that were underneath the order that the Laramies and the Chapins won, being able to not show bodies or blood. And these were going to be a little different. The bodies were going to be redacted, but the crime scene was going to be pretty evident. So this entity called Olivia. By the time she got off the phone, she was calling me in a panic and telling me that they were coming out, and they were out. They were already on the website. Olivia is pretty adamant about, things and wants to know what's out there. She doesn't just want to come upon something and be surprised. So somewhere along the line, it was very apparent that there were 3 pictures that showed the victims that did not get redacted. And it came down. It came down because there were 3, but whoever had downloaded those in that time frame before, I don't know how long it was up, have those pictures of actual victims. So
Turned into a profit-making like enterprise. The day before, they told us that because somebody complained that did FOIA requests that the families were getting the photos at the same time, we no longer get the photos. We don't get any of the discovery from these images or anything that's been a FOIA request. They get it first, and then we can get it after them.
You want to talk about profit making. All right. They claim YouTubers are making money to pay their bills. That's a lie here. I'm putting out truth, facts, and evidence. I'm not getting paid enough to pay my bills, folks. But I will say this. I take offense to this. Well, they have a $400 million lawsuit pending. Speculative, of course. Why did they put that in place? Why? Let's talk about that for a minute. Who's motivated by money?
Did you see a photo with the students? I'm trying to choose my words carefully, but I don't have another way to say it. Did you see photos, crime scene photos horrific bloody crime scene photos with the victims' bodies in the photos. Did you see that?
Unfortunately, yes.
I don't know why they can't ever do the right thing, Steve. They did not take this case to trial. They did not find out the truth. This was a death penalty case. If we're going to have the death penalty, this is it. They took a weak plea. We never learned the whole truth. They wouldn't do the right thing. And now this, they are buckling under to a FOIA request. But they don't even have the courtesy to give it to you first. When do they pick and choose when to follow the law?
Well,
Yeah.
just to the other family that ever goes through a case like this, just know they're going to lie to you. They're going to tell you in your weakest moment that if you just want to make it go away, just go along with the plea, just go along and all the stuff will go away. And I had legal counsel and they were like, that's not going to go away, Steve. They're just lying to these families, trying to divide them so that they can get at least somebody to agree with what they're doing. And then that's all they need. Even though there's 4 victims and you can get a death penalty for 1, they wanted to break us apart to help their narrative. And we're still dealing with it. We're still dealing with it right now.
Well, I've got to tell you something, Mr. and Mrs. Gonsalves. After my fiance was murdered, of course, I was a witness at the trial. And I remember coming down off the witness stand. I had never been in a courtroom. I didn't know anything about the justice system at all. When I came off the witness stand, it was way high up by the judge's head. I came down, then there was a landing. Then there were more steps to come down. And I walked out and I looked over and I saw Keith's bloody shirt. And I was just a young girl, but I will never forget that moment. I had not seen it. I didn't know about it. I knew what he was wearing that morning when he left. It was a denim shirt to go to his job at a construction site. But I had not did not see any of the evidence until I saw that, his bloody clothes lying on the counsel table. And that one moment has crystallized in my mind after all these years. So I don't know how you can even close your eyes and go to sleep at night after you've seen the crime scene photos that were leaked and then scrubbed on the police side.
Nancy Grace. I will tell you, my fiance died in war, in actual gunfire. All I got was a flag. Even though I was already pregnant with his child, they gave me a flag and said sorry. Was it enemy fire? I don't know. But he was a Marine. Now that is not how someone responds to the love of their life dying. I am just shocked. She uses this story all the time. I've never told my story, but she uses this story all the time to try to relate to victims of people who have lost their loved ones. I think she's told this story so many times, in my humble opinion, it just doesn't make sense anymore. Granted, she's a prosecutor, ex-prosecutor. I get it. But that story just doesn't jive anymore with me. It's like I can see right through her.
What did that do to you, Christy?
So, I chose to look very quickly. Unfortunately, sometimes it just gets me. Other times I'm no, but I was like, I gotta, and I did not look at a lot. I did not look, for long. I pretty much was out of there like quickly, but it's hard to unsee. And I knew that. I knew it would happen.
What about it, Steve?
I haven't seen very many. On the ones that I've seen are just ones that my family wanted me to comment on if it was as bad as, basically show me, like, seeing the victims in body bags, things that they're not entertainment. I mean, they're for investigations. And if you're not going to have a trial, you really don't have the same investigation at that point. it's not a need to know. It's not the community, and you're not having a jury. So it's kind of frustrating that we're still doing
And,
it.
we get a lot of heat over this because people say, you guys are no different. It is very common for crime scene photos to come out. I get that. I understand that. I feel bad for those families that their loved ones are out there and this has happened. But I just feel like times are changing, and what people do with those photos nowadays is what the real problem is. Blow them up on social media and analyze them and talk about them. It's not true crime anymore. It's troll crime, and that's where things are changing. And it has been for quite a while.
They're making a profit.
So
off
now
your-
that I have given you the story behind Olivia and the Crime Scene Collective and agencies that go out and recruit people to share true crime, what do you think of this story now? Is this a push to change freedom of speech? Is this a push to limit what creators can share? Do you guys think that maybe some of this has been perpetrated fraud or RICO, that they have gotten caught? Because see, not everybody's telling you the real story, and that's why they're hitting me so freaking hard, guys. I have given you evidence and proof of this. Think about it. There are some attorneys now sharing true crime, divorce attorneys. There are people that share true crime because they have watched true crime for a very long time. Yeah, I've been watching it for 20-something years. It's not my hobby. Yes, I watch shows, but half the shows that you see is not truthful. I worked under a private investigator in North Carolina when I was in nursing school. It paid for my books. It paid for my bills. What did they do? What did I do? Insurance fraud. Okay? And a little bit of skip tracing, which I love finding people. But let me tell you this. These two, what is their agenda in speaking out with Nancy Grace, with getting an attorney, with sharing this all over social media? Because I've seen them on big national TV interviews, but primarily they are shared on social media. And the first exclusive interview was with Chronicles of Olivia, which now is allegedly married to Steve Jr.
Good loved ones, and that was
They're
going
relishing
on.
in it.
Yeah, and that was to a lesser extent before, but like your organization isn't showing them, you're not going to get that same kind of professionalism in some of these smaller true crime people.
Yeah, no.
Some of them do though.
I remember years ago on it was my very first book. It was called Objection, and I wrote a chapter called Blood Money, and I was so stunned that people got a hold of Nicole Brown's autopsy photos and were selling them. After I wrote that chapter, Blood Money, I had this cheap little, it was like a $200 laptop. It's like this big that I wrote the book on. When I finished that chapter, I had to look up so many ghoulish examples of what we're talking about right now. I swear I thought the computer had to be hanked, and I destroyed it because I had to write about people buying crime scene photos and scraps from a crime scene that were bloody and autopsy photos. It's just ghoulish. After you saw that, to both of you, how did that affect you? Because I still think back on that moment and I just saw a bloody shirt.
I'm not sure if I've really been able to wrap my mind around it, honestly. I don't believe you've actually looked at them on your own. I showed Steve one, and it was one of the less graphic ones. And he was like, yeah. So unfortunately, I went there, and I deeply regret it. I knew I would.
I've got to tell you something I learned, the hard way. I'm very curious by nature, but when it comes to my fiance's murder, I've learned to control my curiosity, because I don't want any more nightmares or any more night terrors or sleepwalking or crying jags than I've already had. So I just, please know, you are in our thoughts and our prayers throughout this whole ordeal. And to put it up and scrub it shows a certain degree of knowledge that you did the wrong thing. I want to talk to you now about another Kohberger-related incident. Listen.
Now, Kohberger's sister, she goes by Mel, spoke to the New York Times. This piece was published on Wednesday, January 7th. The headline, "Her brother murdered 4 students, now she's ready to talk. Well, I'm so happy that she now feels ready to tell her story. The readout in the online version says that Mel is going to talk about the Kohberger families, their pain, their confusion. You know, this thing happened the blink of an eye ago. And this piece is such a piece of journalistic malpractice. The interviewer, the guy's name is Mike Baker. He either does not know nor does he care to read in to the details of this case, but instead
went over that article by Mike Baker. He even put on his X, which is formerly Twitter, he put in the article what he does for a living, but she will never share what he does. Okay? I'm going to share with you what Mike Baker does. He's a national investigative correspondent for the New York Times based in Seattle. Okay? Listen to what he writes about. What I cover, my investigative reporting spans a wide range of subjects: the political influence of the ultra wealthy and predictions of Jeffrey Epstein, the ways the government agency at times fail the people they're supposed to freaking serve. Okay, they're never going to tell you what he covers. Now it should start making sense. Some of my investigations are in response to breaking news events such as the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, and the collapse of the condo tower in Surfside, Florida. Others, articles or other stories that he covers can take more than a year to materialize, because in some cases that level of diligence and, thankfully, patience of my editors is needed to properly expose malfeasance in a way that can hold powerful people and institutions accountable. Hell freaking yes, Mike Baker. Get to it. Many of my investigations involve document troves and data analysis. Almost all of them are dependent on courageous people who are willing to share sensitive information, guide us through complex subjects, and describe the ways in which they were harmed. If you have an idea for an investigation or information to share, please get in touch. Now, I shared this on my X, and you should have seen the freaking comments that I'm mentally ill, that I have nothing better to do, that I should get a job, all kinds of crap. Bot farm, anyone? Before joining the Times, he was an investigative reporter at the Seattle Times and worked both coast, east and west, for the Associated Press. He has 2 Pulitzer Prize winning teams he's been a part of. He has investigation of Warren Buffett's mobile home business, and in 2018, he won a Selgin Ring Award for investigation of neuroscience in Institute in Seattle. This guy is the real deal. Yes, go look at the other articles he's written. I did. Here's what the latest release of the documents from Epstein, volunteer fire departments, Trump. I mean, he's got a wide range of things he investigates, that he goes and looks into. Okay? Now, it's interesting to go back and read some of the Kohberger articles that he wrote in the Idaho 4, but you can see that he's very unbiased and he's looking for the truth. And I sure hope in the latest dump of photos and documents, Mike Baker will find the truth and share it on a national level, because people like this aren't afraid to go up against. We, the people, should be questioning the ultra wealthy and what they are trying to do in any small or large agency. That is exactly how you find truth.
Dead. We've got crap like this in the New York Times. Feel sorry for me. My brother is a homicidal maniac who snuffed out 4 young lives and seemed to enjoy doing it. And it looks like my mom was an accessory after the fact. Just my opinion. But hey, we just want to re-enter polite society. Please, won't you help us? And the New York Times says, sure, why not?
That is our friend, Maureen Callahan, from her podcast, The Nerve. And boy, she hit the nail on the head. Really, Mel?
With friends like that, you really don't need anyone else, guys.
Is why to the New York Times, and they're printing their puff piece about her pain, and her family's pain. Okay, that's the time to keep your pie hole shut. Right there. I would like your response to Kohberger's family whining about their pain.
You know, I think it's just odd that they would. That's their first time they've chosen to speak out. You know, apparently they stand behind him, whether they believe the truth or not. But they've never spoken out for his innocence. They've never gone out there and said, you know, my brother's innocent. He didn't do this. He would never do such a thing. But they come out and, you know, say, you know, we're in this terrible situation. Our family is hurting and whatnot. And I don't doubt that their family is having some sort of confusion, pain. I don't. I'm sure that they are.
Even compare.
But it does not compare at all. They can still talk to him. They can write to him. They could go visit him. He's still breathing.
My kids would be, if one of my kids did something like this, they would be dead to our family. We would not be supporting them. That we would not be. I tell all my kids, if you do something that atrocious, even like something like that, where you overly go over somebody else as well, you're done. This family, we would never put up with that. And this, we're talking about an individual who's got like $30,000. So you gotta stand up and say the person's wrong, and then remove your support. Otherwise, you're condoning what he did, and you're embracing it, and you're rewarding him for that behavior. And that's why society has people like this, and we will continue to have people like this because we haven't just cut the rope and said, "You're done, you're dead, you're dead." Even though you're alive, you're dead.
It's hard to put ourselves in it because people think they can't really say what you're going to do. We think we know what we would do if the tables were reversed. So it is hard to actually know for sure. That's just our opinion of.
There's only so much I can handle, but in my opinion, these are not parents that are looking for the truth to what happened to their child. Drop your thoughts about what I just said. Do you think, in your humble opinion, are these grieving parents looking for truth, or are they grieving parents looking for a payday? Which one is it? Payday or truth?
How we feel at the
Hey
family.
guys, Gonsalveses, you
Yes.
sitting down? You may need to lay down. Quotes from Melissa Kohberger from the New York Times. Brace yourself. I've always been a person who has spoken up for what was right. Okay, just right there. Screeching, stop. If I ever had a reason to believe my brother did anything, I would have turned him in. Okay, it's confusing, it's painful, it's like being victimized, but not really being a victim. Okay, you're not a victim. You're not a victim, Melissa Kohberger. The idea is making me so emotional, I can barely speak to you about it. It's human nature to be curious about darker things. That's how we keep ourselves safe. I think we should try to come together for a true crime culture. What? Come together for a true crime culture? Now, wait. We're all so proud of him because he had overcome so much. It was a heart surrounded by vibrant colors that I had drawn for Brian, even if I could not be there in person. Okay, I stand up for what is right. She actually said that, Christy. She said that.
Yeah, I find it very hard to believe that she doesn't know the truth, unless in that situation that they are in, they just have a mental block that will not allow them to accept what he did.
She said, in her own words, "Brian, you're out at like 1, 2, and 3 in the morning.
Be careful running.
So if you know your brother's out, he has the same car, you got a shared family Amazon account, you're seeing he has the weapon. So now he has the weapon, the car, and he's out around that time.
And he lives close.
Yeah, he's less than 10 miles away. Don't tell me you didn't know or you didn't think that he was a suspect. Or why didn't you tell him to go
Well,
turn his car?
according to her, the family knew nothing. Listen.
Kohberger's sister Mel saying her family had no idea her brother was a killer and reached out to warn him to be careful after the murders. Finally speaking out, she wants to talk about growing up with the killer.
No one wants to hear about growing up with Brian Kohberger, but this does not bode well for her mental health care career if she lived with a psycho killer her whole life and didn't notice anything was wrong. Okay, joining me right now, Dr. Bethany Marshall. She's a renowned psychologist out of the LA jurisdiction, author of Deal Breakers. You can see her on Peacock, and you can find her at drbethanymarshall.com. Dr. Bethany Marshall, I ask that you tread very lightly while the Gonsalves family is with us. But what is with this person? It's my understanding, and you investigative reporter Susan Day, jump in if I'm wrong, but she has a career in mental health care, and she lived with a psycho killer her whole life
Don't you think his sister would have known this?
and didn't notice a thing? That does not bode well.
No, there's so many reports about Brian Kohberger that exposed the fact that he stalked, that the staff at the university had meetings about him. There were complaints about him. I'm sure he exhibited that same behavior at home. There's a term, the mask of sanity, when it comes to psychopaths, meaning that they wear the mask of sanity. They pretend that they are more sane than they really are. But Brian Kohberger did not pretend he was sane. It was apparent to everybody around him. Why not Mel? And the thing about Melissa, in order to be a therapist, you have to have profound empathy for others. In her interview, she expresses no empathy for the families of the victims.
Well, even giving the interview about her pain and her family's pain. Okay, let's leave us
They
tonight.
are.
I want to speak to them about what this woman just said, Koberger's sister. The family had no idea. But let me lay something out for you, and then I'll explore it more in depth with the rest of our panel. The phone records tell a very different story, Mr. and Mrs. Gonsalves, and I'm sure you already know this. But for those that don't, for the phone records, the murders of 4 beautiful students, including Keely Gonsalves, occurred between 4:05 and 4:20 a.m. Koberger turns his phone off between 2:30 and 4:30 a.m. He turns the phone back on his way from the crime scene back to his apartment in Pullman.
Okay, this is a bunch of BS. I'm going to fast forward it. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I want to give you a little snippet of what they respond to this bullshit lies. And do me a favor. If you think this interview is all bullshit, drop a 1. I'm curious to think how many people of 153 people here right now know that this is pure bullshit. Okay? I'm about to get spicy because we're going to review some of these pictures that are going to negate exactly what these people in this bullshit is about. Okay? Drop a 1 if you think this whole interview is bullshit.
Have you thought about this?
We know more than just that. We know from some of the stuff they pulled from his phone. She sent him links to the story. So
Not that same day, but shortly after.
yeah, shortly after. So yeah. And we know about they gave the bolo out on the car, and then just within a day or two, they start booking a flight to go get him. And then he wasn't coming back with that car. That whole trip to Pennsylvania was to get rid of evidence, his car, and help him clean it. As soon as he pulled up to the house, Dad jumped out of the car, moved his car out, and put his in the garage. So yeah, there's more to that too. But there's only so much we can focus on and so much we can work on. But we're not fools.
Yeah. And we do know that he was wearing gloves inside the house almost the whole time. Matter of fact, when they went in to arrest him, he was indeed sitting at the kitchen table wearing gloves, sorting trash. Now, whether he was doing that while the family was all sleeping, I find it hard to believe that they didn't notice that he was going around wearing gloves. Maybe he was sorting trash only while they were asleep and they didn't notice that. But why are you just walking around the house wearing gloves? Why are you out there obsessively in
And
your
right
car?
there, Christy, this morning as my daughter was walking out, I went, hold on, you got a white fuzzy attached to your leg. And I went over and got it off and she walked out the door. I noticed that. They didn't notice he was wearing gloves in the house.
They didn't want to notice it, is what it is.
Sorting his garbage.
Those phone calls to me are damning. They're damning. And I wonder if the mother was ever questioned about what the content of those phone calls over and over and over, going to the crime scene, going around and around and around like a vulture at the crime scene. What were they talking about? Was she questioned? To the Gonsalves family, I beg you not to look at the photos any further. I beg you, because it's going to be up here the rest of your life. What is your message tonight, Mr. and Mrs. Gonsalves?
It really is the society changing the way it is, and so many people having access to it via the internet and being able to get these pictures. They fall in the wrong hands, and it's just
Everybody's a news network, but they don't have the education to be.
an 18-year-old TikToker, getting them out there and
I
just
wouldn't have done
spreading.
the right thing at 18 either. So
Yeah.
it's just our leaders have to be better than this.
And we are no different than the people in the
Is
house. I'm not trying to say we're
all
better than them,
about
but
the TikTok sale and trying to control what's out there?
things need to change. It's time to change this.
You know what? For the first time ever, Mr. and Mrs. Gonsalves, I completely disagree with you. I think right is right and wrong is wrong. And there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse.
ISP released them. There was nothing barring them from releasing these photos. Why are they so upset?
For hurting the victims' families for your own monetary gain.
Wait a minute. Guys, I have been completely transparent with you. I have a very small channel that I started here on YouTube 7-8 months ago. I have approximately, let me just take a peek. Hold on. I am not one of these large channels at all. I am one of the smaller channels that has 6,664 subscribers. 6,000 subscribers. All right. My average income made on a video is about $1. Okay. My average live is about $3 or $4. Other than the donations that are given for Monday mods, because they monitor the crazies out on the internet in this case. We have to protect ourselves here. I protect you, the mods, and myself. And if you ever question that, ask any of my mods. I make sure that I protect everyone involved. And if the families are watching, that's their choice. That is 100% their choice. But make no mistakes about it. humbly, the average, I got 175 watching right now. Make no mistakes. There is nothing. I have never been transparent. Look at my views. If you think I'm making an impact, all I've ever said is if the right person sees my video, if the right person, ever sees my video, let's hope they do the right thing. Let's hope they share the right information.
A moment for another click for a higher rating could just, it's wrong. As I told my children, if it feels wrong, it is wrong. There's something wrong. You feel like, is this right? It's not right. When you feel those tingles, or you feel hot, when you're saying something or doing something, stop. Because it's wrong. And your conscience is telling you that's wrong. So I can explain it away with the times they be changing. That doesn't cut it with me. But please know tonight, you are in our prayers as always. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Hi, guys, Nancy Grace here. If you are a homeowner, this is
So I had to definitely speed that up. And if you are a homeowner, make better choices. That's all I got to say about that. All right. So let's get into part 2 of this. I am going to share some, obviously I promised I'm going to share some of these documents that might be a trigger. And I just want to give you that warning real quick. I'm not going to start on the most horrible ones, but I am going to start on a few of them that I did review again last night. And I started to question myself. And I think I was at 2061. Let me just get there. Or was it 2061? Hold on. Let me get there. 2061. And I wanted to talk about some of these because I think it really, was it 2261? Hold on a minute. It really starts to tell a bigger story that I don't think they wanted anyone to catch on to. I know some people are taking these, pictures and they're saying, look at the light bulb, look at blowing up all kinds of crap. I'm not coming from that angle. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be distasteful. I'm trying to get you guys to see the bigger picture here. We always talked about how messy this house was that night. Was there a party there? Could there have possibly been a party that went wrong? Always in the back of my mind, I have thought this. Maybe they cleaned up just a little. The broken doors here, there were broken drawers. Looked like this place had been ransacked all over every single room. What were people looking for? Were they looking for a suitcase? Because look at this picture right here. It looks like something broke. I don't know if this is a Scentsy lamp or not, or one of those little diffusers. But look at this picture. It begins to tell a different story when you start taking a deeper look. Looks to me somebody went to McDonald's. Some kind of maybe altercation, knocked it over, a little bit of drinking going on. I mean, just use your head, right? You can look at the dresser. There was soda spilt all over it. It looked like maybe someone had bumped into the closet. Soda was all over the place. And then we get to the infamous jacket and all the dark clothes in this tote. Thank you so much. Stop watching Christie Public Records. Lotus, White Lotus. I agree. We have to choose what we're watching. We have to choose if we're going to believe the narrative or are we going to look into what is actually happening. I don't look at Nancy Grace as the end all be all. She's putting her common, background, her career. But why in the world would these pictures tell a different story? Like I said yesterday, was that Taco Bell or was it Jack in the Box? I mean, such a small, minute detail. Would that break the case if we found out that it was Taco Bell that was delivered and then Jack in the Box? Maybe they changed their mind. Maybe the order was so late. Maybe they, Molly did say she had a couple order deliveries there. Did she take them both times and they picked the latest time? I mean, come on, use your common sense. And here's the kicker in this picture. There are things in this tote that made me question what happened. Soda was all spilt. Maybe they knocked something down. The Scentsy was broken. Look at the soda all over the dresser. Did somebody get into an argument, or look at the scuffle? Maybe they did. Look. All right? All over the place. And then we get to the tote where there's black pants laying there. Somebody changed. Somebody threw their clothes in this tote. Where's the evidence for this tote other than just the green and the black? The green jacket. There were other clothes in this AKA empty workroom. Right? There's the soda spilt all over. Here is a great picture of the jacket, more clothes in there, Doc Martens in there, some alcohol that was laying around. Was there a party that night? And did something go wrong? Obviously, you could tell the soda was spilt. Someone picked the cup up. That looks like it was maybe just a little warmer of the little candles that you throw in there. What were these investigators looking for? Broken doors? Did they powder any of those? Did they luminol? Did they do anything in there? And then we have the infamous golf clubs. Not even a complete set. See, and here's what I thought. I thought Ethan played golf. I was a serious golfer back in the day. Okay? I golfed, I even have a custom pair of golf clubs because I'm short. Now, if you look at this picture, where are the rest of his clubs? Why is there a driver? And why are there, there's some missing. There's one in the background. He is missing a couple of clubs there, guys. And then it dawned on me, why are there all these black, dark clothes? And whose are these? A pair of underwear in there? Are those guys' clothes? Because AKA Jenna said in her interview she was going to move in, or she was moved in. That is the spare bedroom. Did they forget that Jenna said that in the interview? That she kind of lived there? Like she was staying there some of the time? Whose jacket is that? There's their pants. Whoever's pants those was. There's a purse in there, it looks like. A hoodie, maybe, of Nike. Another dark gray hoodie. Another green jacket. Yeah. Look at those pictures. Why was this crumpled up? You can see the blood on this jacket. Why was it crumpled up in a pile of other clothes? Black jeans, just all black clothing. Looks like a Champion bag in there, or those are underwear or something with the Champion. Maybe a bag, or these were underwear in there. Doc Martens, or some type of boots. I don't know if those are actually Doc Martens. I can't see. Are they? Maybe they are. A can, something they were drinking. See, a lot of people haven't shared these photos because they're not blood and gore. These photos make common sense to me. I don't need to see blood and gore. But what if this was a room that was being used? Where's the bedding? Where's the bedding? And the rumor is that Ethan's family never got the golf clubs back. Well, did they analyze the golf clubs? Did they look for evidence? Did they look for DNA? Yeah, in a previous statement, the girls said they came and the doors were open. They came home, the doors were open, and they grabbed the golf clubs out of this spare room where Ethan did keep them to make sure that they felt like they had something in case somebody was in the house. And where's the blankets that were maybe allegedly on this bed? Where's the blankets? Obviously, someone was having a party in this room. There's empty containers, empty boxes. Looks like they were drinking. Looks like someone's computer was in there. Looks like there's coffee there. A suitcase underneath the bed. Looks like somebody was drinking in there. And it looks like all the rooms had some type of drinking and maybe some type of, I don't know, altercation or some type of scuffle, or they were looking for something specific. What are your thoughts on that? Excuse me. I need another cough drop. Why would his golf clubs be in there when he had another home? Great question. Where's his apartment? Where is his off-campus apartment? Never been able to find it. For some reason, those remind me of Jack D. Those clothes? Was there a brand on the jeans? Let me look. Let's go hunting real quick. Is there a brand on these jeans? No, but they look frayed. I wonder if they have checkers on the front. I wonder. Let me see if I can see. Let me do a search on Google Lens. Let's see what type of jeans these are. Let me do a internet-wide search. And I'll show you what I'm searching, just so you know. I love it when my computer says it's good to see you. Black, slim, or skinny jeans. 5-pocket design. And they typically look like men's. Men's black skinny jeans. Oh. They're not cargo. Solid black, faded from wear. The leg opening looks fairly narrow. And the fabric does not appear baggy. Points to a slim fit or skinny rather than straight or relaxed. Looks like men's skinny jeans. Huh. Okay then. Okay. Yeah, it kind of looks like maybe a little stained. I mean, look at the rest of this box. Men's boots. Black jeans here, a black sweatshirt, another black jacket, that stained jacket that we tracked down. Looks like a backpack in here, right there. That blue sweatshirt, and then another dark blue sweatshirt that kind of looks stained right here. Where did all that evidence go? They do look like skinny jeans. Totally look like skinny jeans. Like, who would wear those and leave them inside the house? Black skinny jeans. Huh. It'd have to be somebody small. Who would be that small, though? Not track pants, but maybe somebody thin enough. Who would be that small? Definitely doesn't look like Brian Koberger to me. Black skinny jeans. I mean, is that like a fad out there? I know that is for skaters to wear black. But who would wear black skinny jeans? I mean, I don't know. If I was a guy, I'm a girl. I don't even wear skinny jeans. Maybe because I'm a size 14, 12, 14, depending on the maker. And definitely not skinny. But I'm just saying, y'all. Oh, wow. Maybe somebody left their jeans there. Maybe at another time. But I thought he'd never been in the house, and they asked him to draw emo. I thought they asked him to draw a picture. Yeah, these kids nowadays, I don't know what they are. Xana had him on that day, that splotch. I don't know. Xana had black jeans. Lulu Bell. Oh my God, the running nakedness man left them. Well, who was the running naked man and where was he running to? Now, somebody had a video of this naked man running. I never could confirm who made this video or who had this video on them, but I will say, nothing in evidence says that there were some black skinny jeans. Let me look in the evidence files again, because you know what? I'm human. I could make mistakes and maybe never even picked up on it until now. Let me see if they even picked any evidence up before Koberger's name was mentioned on the 5th of December. And I'm going to go to the evidence file. Here it is. And let me see if there was any skinny jeans noted or anything as for jeans. Nope. Black polar glove, black latex, black winter glove, a size fits all, black and white shoes, black and white Converse, Adidas, black, green and pink coat, short sleeve shirt, that was Dylan's belonging. Pink and white cloth, possibly used as a curtain or decoration. I've never really seen the final for that one. Black sweatpants. Those were not sweatpants. Black hoodie. No, black iPhone. Black gloves, white jacket. Black long sleeve shirts and sweats. I obviously want to know who this person was too. SB follow-up. SB. I don't know if you guys remember this one. This narrative basically said that SB left his dorm wearing all black, black beanie, gloves, and a white jacket. Came home without the beanie, gloves, and jacket, and left with the backpack. Now, this would match what I was suspecting the time frame. Look at the time frame. Oh, God, this has got to stop. This is They requested the video from the dorm, and this is what he was wearing in the synopsis. And this was done by Aaron Morris. I am going to save this for my records. And I don't see anything else about, oh, shoot. I don't see anything else about the black skinny jeans. They were not in evidence. Which is crazy because I looked through everything. There was a glove there. I don't see any jeans. Cigarette butt, stain swabs. Nope. I do see shirt and pants on 11/17, but it doesn't say whose shirt or pants. Let me go to the evidence. Let me do a cross check. T-shirt, pants, 11/17, sock, earring. It's got to be Kaylee's. Kershaw knife, receipts, phone, laptop, blue phone, steak knife. Nope. I don't see any. I bet you this was, I just had, honey. I bet you this was excluded from evidence. Holy freaking moly, it just hit me. That is why Ann Taylor wanted them to go back and collect this freaking jacket. They could see that there was red stuff on this jacket in the pictures, folks. Right here. Right here. They didn't ask for the rest of this stuff. I'm sure they would have got it back and say, oh, nope, it's already sprayed with, whoops. Look at the stain right there. It was already sprayed with something. There you go. Yeah, I was worried about that too, but yeah, I have a history of that. So I don't have asthma. It's just when I got this cold, it just settled in my chest. So I'm trying to just nurse it. But get this. Yeah, Blue Star. They would have sprayed Blue Star all over it. Now, it was never taken into evidence. So that is why Ann Taylor went back and said, look, I need this coat. I need X, Y, and Z. And that was all they saw was from the pictures. But when did they get these pictures? Because she had a hard time going through all this evidence. When did they actually get these pictures? You can't see stains on dark clothing. But damn, you could sure see them on this jacket. There's stains here. Right here on the corner of the zipper. I wonder if Ann Taylor saw these pictures and that's why those were requested. That's the only thing I can think. Unless somebody said, what were you wearing that night? And they were looking for a couple of different things in evidence. They were looking specifically. I mean, look at this dresser. I'm going to zoom in. Look at the soda that just spilled all over the front of this. Somebody. They had to have spilled it. Wow. Man, I don't know if I can keep going. I said I'd power through, but this is bad. Let's do this, guys. I'm going to take a break. I am definitely going to take a break. but I am not going to stop looking. So, thanks for bearing with me. I'm going to get some rest. Pray for me. I'm going to find answers. Be well.
I've been chasing shadows in the night. Words echo silent where I hide. Every mirror shows a stranger's eyes, searching for the part of me that's mine. But the sky ignites a spark inside, burning down to wait. In the ashes of my fight, truth is born again. I will rise up like a phoenix from the flame. Find my voice and call out your name. From the roots of what I used to be, I'll embrace the truth and set it free. Blinded by the weight of all my fears, I let them break me, shape my tears. Every scar's a testament to life. Now I rewrite the story in my mind. Yeah, feel the fire burning. I'm no longer turning away from the truth that's calling. I'm alive today. All I used to be, rise up free, rise free, and set me free. Rising high, Phoenix, watch me go.
Brian is innocent. Brian has been essentially convicted in the media. He has a right to have this information withheld, brought out in public, so that people can see it's not this neat little package. So people can start to wonder if Brian's innocent. Your Honor, Brian is innocent. So if I talk about things that are in the affidavit, and if I talk about things that we're seeking that the state wants to hide, I think that's fair game for the public to hear.